Chapter 7, Storing Supplies Like Hamsters. We had learned that the war had not come to a close after 4 weeks as Papa predicted. For the next 4 weeks, we still believed that each day would bring peace, but when 4 more weeks had passed with no sign of an ending, we had given up hope for an armistice in the immediate future. Up to that time, we but talked about the sacrifices where we should consider to be our duty, for it was not necessary to worry about a shortage of food. Even though the prices were higher, we were still able to buy whatever we needed for our daily use, and for that reason our grocery supply in the attic was as yet untouched. In our cellar stood 12 buckets of eggs which Frau Heinle had shown Mama how to preserve in water glass. There were also 2 large barrels of cabbage which Feeny and I had helped salt away. We did not have to attend school that day. Feeny shredded the cabbage on a sharp steel blade which was fastened to the center of a narrow board. Mama spread into a wide barrel alternating layers of cabbage and salt which Feeny and I had to knead together with our bare feet. With our hands on each other's shoulders, we sang to keep in time. The rough salt was stinging our feet and also made them freezing cold. To relieve this unpleasant feeling, we bathed them every few minutes in a basin of cold water. Feeny raised large blisters on her heels and toes, but my feet must have been very tough for they were only swollen and very red. The people who distinguished themselves by continuous hoarding of food were nicknamed hamster, after a small rodent animal of the rat tribe which inhabits the sandy districts of Germany. Like the hamsters, with their immense cheek pouches and their remarkable instinct to hide food reserves for a severe winter, the people accumulated provisions for a time which they expected to become more and more serious. To a hamster was, at first, considered to be unpatriotic, but when the food supply still seemed to be inexhaustible, people ridiculed others who kept on hoarding. They, however, ignoring all the sarcastic remarks, justified themselves, saying, "The war may still last a whole year. The ones who save in time have in need." I often asked Mama why she continued to add to our stack of supplies, and she always answered, "It is not for my own sake, but for my children." Only a good mother is a real German patriot. I thought she exaggerated her desire for accumulating, but I was flattered and enjoyed knowing about her secret, for it was always me she chose to be her helper. One day she gave me a sealed letter which I was to bring to the Hoffman farm in Neuburg. Right after school I rushed there on my bicycle. When the farmkeeper had read what Mama had written, he blinked at me with one eye and pinching my cheek. "She is very wise, your Mama," he said. Then he called his son and ordered him to harness the horses. 6 heavy sacks of wheat were loaded on the wagon and my bicycle was tied on top of them. The farmer helped me to reach the seat beside his son, who, holding the reins and the whip, galloped the horses out of the farm, through the forest, along the highway, and home. I still had not come to any conclusion why Mama wanted all that wheat, when we drove through the back entrance of our garden where Mama and Feeny stood in the dark. "Shh," whispered Mama, mysteriously, "don't tell Papa where you have been, and if he should ask you about it, say that you have been with Elizabeth since school was out." However, Papa had not even noticed that I had been away. Later, I found out that there was money enclosed in the letter that I had taken to Neuburg. The farmer was to include this money with his remittance to Papa for the sale of the entire crop, so that Papa would not know that the 6 sacks had been delivered to our house. I was not popular among my classmates, for I could never attend any of their parties or plays. I had to help Mama whenever I was free from school, and when she did not need me, I preferred to spend my time with my regiment. Sometimes Karl and Ludwig waited for me in front of the convent, and when the girls saw these boys with their ragged clothes, dirty bare feet, and unkempt hair salute me respectfully, they made fun of me. Elizabeth once said that her mother would not permit me again into her home because I did not accept her invitation to a chocolate party. I would have liked to go, but it happened to be on the day after we salted the cabbage away and I could not fit my party shoes. However, I told Elizabeth that I was glad not to have to enter her house anymore because of its suffocating odor of mothballs.